Hello and welcome. This is Alchemist X, and this is the third week of the anniversary celebrations. Things are certainly starting to wind down. There's not too much to talk about really in that regard. Some free daily summons, nothing new is really being released right now. There are some banners to talk about, not much though, and to add to that, we also have some foresight about what is coming up. One for the rest of February and two then the first thing in March. So Phantom of the Kill is going to be rerunning starting in the middle of February. There's also going to be a Lustberg memento that will cover a group of units as they've done for other regions. Torito is going to have an alter class job. There's some more details and some translated pictures in a community post I made earlier if you want to see some of that. So the main things about that are going to be if you have been waiting for POTK to come back, especially maybe you've been waiting for a Turfing Link rerun, I would count on that happening. So if you've got the gems aside for that, the only thing to think about is that there is almost certainly not going to be TAGA pay. So you might have 1 to 2 discount tickets, but other than that, you're looking at the 50k cost to guarantee the unit. And then at the beginning of March, Lisbeth Link version is going to be released. I don't really have any good speculation as to what she is going to be. There isn't like a natural guess. Like with, they have Dios who's starting to look more and more like Andex. Light was an obvious guess. Logi's heritage comes from a bunch of fire units like Kagura. So fire, pretty obvious guess there. I imagine if they ever release a Link Amane, Thunder would be a logical choice given Celis. But with Lisbeth, I don't really know what they would do. She could be the first that's the same element as her original counterpart, or she could be a different element, maybe not one that's just like intuitive, but just one that they chose for either meta reason or just because. I would expect her to be a very strong support. Probably not on the level of Ouroboros though. I at least hope that she's not on the level of Ouroboros for two reasons. One, she's a little less expensive. And then two, I really don't want Ouroboros to be power crept because she's already pretty insane in terms of the sheer amount of things that she does and at the potency at which she does it. Like, she's not going to be the best DPS in the game, but she's a pretty dang good DPS given all of the other support capacity that she has. Her role consolidation is top tier, and that's what makes her so excellent. So I really don't want that to be power crept so soon because that's just a bad sign for the health of the game if it just escalates that quickly. But it's a little too soon to say any more than that. More news will come in the coming weeks, but before that we'll probably be focusing on Phantom of the Kill as that comes out. So that's just something to be aware of, and it is definitely going to affect my recommendations for banners in the upcoming overview. And speaking of, let's go ahead and jump into the banners. And here we are at the banners. So I'm going to jump around a little bit more than usual in this section. I want to start with the things that I think are just total skip. And then I'm going to save the 2 7-step banners for last. So this first one, the items that you use for the HP raising mechanic, I just think they might seem scarce now, won't stay that way forever. The process is reversible anyway, so I just don't think you should spend gems on it. Voucher banners, I just think they're outcompeted by things with better access to limited items, units, etc. So not really worth it. If they ever put otherworldly enlightenment shards into the pool for things you can buy with vouchers, that would definitely make me change my mind because those are still just so ridiculously scarce. But otherwise, everything is just either just stuff you'll get anyway. It's a total convenience thing. And when you are so limited on gems, you should really just save it for stuff that is absolutely scarce. Enlightenment shards, this one's it's just too expensive for how badly it could turn out if your luck is not good. And then rerunning stuff from previous week. Just keep in mind TAGA pay is no longer in session, so that just makes it way more expensive. And then just a special note about Enanji, you could get her from the 7-step with a selector. I realized I just skipped over the 9-step or actually no, it wasn't a 9-step, it was a 5-step for the Valentine's mementos. In general, I think most of these mementos are pretty optional. A lot of support units, etc., except for Claris's. Claris, you definitely try to make her as strong as you can if you use her. But if you're going to go for Claris's memento, you could just get it from the 7-step with a selector. So I think that's the better route to go if that is your main target. So speaking of the 7 steps with a selector, I think they're a really, really good format for a banner. But in this particular case, somewhat of a victim of unfortunate timing. Because we have that foresight, so if you really want to grab Tearfing Link, then you got to skip this, most likely. Or if you're saving for the next Link unit, which is Lisbeth, then definitely a skip, because the amount of gems that you'll spend on this, while pretty decent when you factor in the discount ticket, is still pretty close to what you would pay for just the cost of one of those units I mentioned's memento. So definitely keep that in mind. But let's say that you are not worried about Phantom the Kill, not worried about Lisbeth Link version. Now you're in a position that these could be more appealing, especially if you have one unit or one memento in particular that just keeps eluding you. Wait till all the free pulls are done, you still haven't gotten it, and that's just like your high priority. Then that's when these banners become really, really good. The unit one in particular is nice just because of all of the coins that you'll get. You'll get 1,000 coins in total. And especially if it is a Link unit that you're going after, which I assume that if you have a really high priority target unit, they're more likely than not either going to be a dragon or they are going to be a Link unit. So the ability to buy their shards with the coins, very, very valuable. The memento banner does not have a secondary prize that's nearly as valuable as the coins, but reliefs are still a good thing to have, especially if you just, that one memento, you want to max limit break it right away. They just gave away a bunch of the memento max level raising items, so you could get it to level 50 fairly easily. So yeah, in those cases, they're very, very good banners, but just be aware of the limitations because they do have a cutoff date that's a little less generous than some of the pickup banners that we had more recently. So in the case of units, anything before Surzik is fair game. And then in the case of mementos, anything that came out before Dios Link's stuff. So the Alchemist Code database, alchemistcodedb.com, if you look at the unit list or the memento list, it is in chronological order. So for units, just go and find Surzik, and then anything below him that's not a collab unit, or in mementos, look for Dios Link's mementos. So the first applicable one in that case would be Lindrake's second memento, which, speaking of, very, very good memento to go for if that is all you are missing for your Lindrake. So I'm not going to do these. This is normally the kind of banner I absolutely would do. However, the previous week's banners with the very limited focus pool ended up satisfying my need for the mementos that I really, really wanted. I still have a selector I haven't used yet, which is either most likely going to go to either Ultima Link or Seda Link. If I happen to have some luck from the free pulls, that'll make it really easy. Otherwise, I'm still trying to decide because Ultima's more maxed out. But Seda's memento is much newer, so the odds of being able to get Ultima's easier is going to increase, and that's kind of my thinking there. But I'm not going to worry about that right now. I will worry about that a little bit later. And as far as what I'm looking forward to, if there is a good way to guarantee Yggdrasil's memento, then I'm going to try to do that once Phantom of the Kill is underway. So that is the end of this video. Hopefully I kept it fairly short. If you are summoning this week, I wish you good luck, and I will see you all next time.